Hey guys, and welcome to another Unity video. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a super simple character selection screen and how to save that selection for a new level that you will load. So here we have our little capsule guy, and as you can see we can change the character. We could go from red, green to blue in both directions, and let's say we want to play as the green character. We hit play and we're on a new level. It says you're playing as player green, and as you can see we really have the green capsule. So let's see how this works. To start this off, we're going to take a look at the character selection screen, and over here we have a characters game object which has a character selection component attached to it, and it has 3 child game objects which are just the prefabs of the players so that we can show the player what their character will look like once they are satisfied with their selection. Now we also have these referenced over here in the character selection script, but we're going to go into a bit more detail later on. For now, let's stick to the scene. Another thing we have in this scene is a UI canvas with 3 buttons. So it has the next, previous, and the start game button, and all of these reference the character selection script right over here and call their respective functions inside of that script. So let's go to the game scene really quickly. We don't have much here. We just have a simple plane and a game manager with a load character script. It has a reference to 3 different prefabs that we can spawn player from, and it has a reference to the spawn point as well as the text that says what player character we have chosen. So now that we have seen how this is set up, let's go to Visual Studio Code and see how the code works. In our character selection script, we have 3 methods and 2 public variables. The first public variable is the characters variable, and if you remember from the scene view, we have referenced all of our characters in our scene to this array so that we can cycle through them. And we also have an index which is called selected character, of type integer, and this one will store the information of which character we have actually selected. So let's go to the first method, which is the next character method. In this method, once the user clicks the button, it will be called, and the characters of selected character, which is the currently selected one, will be set to not active, so set active false. This will mean it will not be visible in the scene. Next thing it does, it increases the index or the selected character variable by 1 and then mods it by the amount of characters. Now we do this so that we can go through cycles. So if we are on 2, which is the last index in our array, and if we increase it by 1, it's going to get modded by 3 in our case, and then it's going to go back to 0, thus creating the cycle. Once we have increased our index variable, or the selected character variable as we have called it here, we simply set the new selected character to true. The previous character method does the exact same thing, but just in reverse. It checks if we have fallen below 0 and then just adds 3, therefore looping from the last index. In this case that would be 2. The start game method is a method that's called by the start game button. Now once it is called, we have a player pref, and player prefs are a simple way in which Unity allows you to save certain data and transfer it between scenes without having complications with writing files on your own. So they have done this for you. So in this case we have the player prefs. We set an integer because we need a integer type variable, because the variable we'll be saving is called the select character and it is an integer. Now we set the integer for the selected character variable. Now keep in mind you can call this anything. I have just called it the exact same way as the variable here itself, just so the code can be cleaner. So we save the selected character player pref and we put the value of it to the selected character variable. Once that is done, we simply load the next scene. In our load character script, we have 3 variables and 1 method, which is the start method that's called by Unity. Now once the start method is called, we create a new variable called select character, and we get the integer of the same name that we have saved it previously. So it's selected character. And now once we have gotten this integer, we have successfully loaded the index of the character that we want to use. And as you can see, we have a new game object. It's called prefab, and we set it to the character prefabs from the selected characters. Now the character prefabs is the array which stores the reference to all of the possible prefabs that the player can choose from. Once that is done, we create a new clone and we do it by instantiating prefab at a spawn point with its own rotation. And once that is done, we simply set the label to be the name of the playable character we have chosen. So in our demo case, it was player green. And that is pretty much it. If you have any questions or criticisms, feel free to leave them in the comments below. As always, I do appreciate a like and subscribe, it helps me out a lot. And I hope to see you all guys in the next video. Goodbye.